Saudi Arabia. When most people hear that name, they think of oil, skyscrapers, and insane wealth. But the reality is a lot more complex, especially when we look at it from an A-level economics perspective. In this video, we'll explore whether Saudi Arabia is truly a developed nation or if it still fits the profile of a developing economy. This directly ties into A-level paper 2, where developing country case studies help explain inequality, unemployment, and dependency theory in action. Let's start with some quick context facts. Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarchy led by King Salman and has a population of around 36 million. It's one of the richest countries in the Middle East by GDP per capita, just under $28,000 in 2024. But don't let that number fool you. It has major issues beneath the surface. Youth unemployment is around 25%, which is extremely high, and while oil dominates exports, the country remains economically vulnerable to global price shocks. 50 years ago, things looked very different. Saudi Arabia was mostly desert, with a nomadic population, which means people who didn't really settle in one place, like travelers. Its economy revolved around agriculture and the Hajj pilgrimage for Muslims. But the 1973 oil crisis changed absolutely everything for Saudi Arabia. Prices surged and Saudi Arabia's oil wealth skyrocketed. Urban growth exploded, but rural areas were still left behind. GDP per capita was just $3,000 and literacy rates were even worse, under 30% with no public universities. This highlights classic developing economy characteristics: low human capital, primary sector dependency, and a weak infrastructure. Fast forwarding to today, oil makes up 70% of exports and 40% of GDP. That's huge dependency on a single commodity. The government knows this, which is why they have launched Vision 2030 to diversify the economy, but challenges persist. Youth unemployment is still 25%, and the top 10% control over half the nation's wealth. Rural areas remain underdeveloped and migrant workers mostly are low paid and underprotected. Migrant workers also make up 75% of the private sector, and women only make up about 19% of the workforce and earn around 56% of what men do. These are all core features of a developing economy: inequality, labor market efficiency, and a reliance on external labor. So what's next for Saudi Arabia? They aim to reduce oil's GDP share below 20% and invest heavily in tech, tourism, and green energy. Think NEOM and the Red Sea project and solar power. They're reforming education, especially STEM, and trying to boost apprenticeships. But there are serious risks. Global oil demand could crash. Reforms may face resistance from elites, and without social reform, wealth will remain concentrated in urban hands. So while the country looks modern on the surface, deeper structural reforms is still needed. In summary, Saudi Arabia is definitely developing, not developed. Yes, it's rich in oil, but when you zoom in on wealth distribution, youth unemployment, gender gaps, and dependency, the cracks show. Its future depends on how successfully it can shift away from oil and build a fair labor market and invest in people, not just mega projects. From an A-level economics angle, it's a perfect case study of a nation in transition, one that reflects both the benefits and limits of resource-driven growth. Thanks for watching. If you're revising for paper 2 or need a real-life case study for development, Saudi Arabia is a goldmine of examples. Drop a comment if you want similar videos on another country, and don't forget to subscribe for more A-level economics content.